Elduff,
Yes.
Jepson,
Yes.
Anderson, yes. Snyder,
Yes.
Laper,
Yes.
okay. We need a motion on Becky Souls.
I move we accept Becky Souls on the planning commission.
Second.
We got a motion in the second, we accept, put Becky Souls on the planning commission. Elduff,
Yes.
Jepson,
Yes.
Anderson votes yes. Snyder, Laper,
Yes.
and Paul Olson.
I move we accept, I move we have Paul Olson serve on the planning commission to fill out, Tim Snyder's term.
I'll second it.
Okay, Elduff, how do you vote?
Yes.
Jepson?
Yes.
Anderson votes yes. Snyder?
Sorry, yes.
Laper?
Abstain.
Abe's gonna abstain. Okay, that's taken care of. Hopefully, we can have an ordinance that the board can pass by August before the. Now, unless, do you have any other comments, Ron? We'll go ahead and start with public comment. What's that? Yeah, would you?
I don't have the authority to do that at the board level, but by statute, it's mandated that the supervisor moderates.
Okay, well,
meetings, so-
I'll moderate it, but you wanna stay?
I'll stay for it, yeah.
Okay, I'll moderate it, best I can. Laura?
Laura Engel, at Douglas Township. When Larry and I began our support of wind energy for this area, we had no idea we were getting into the 2021 version of a rain war. Outside mercenaries, in combination with a local citizens group, fired many rounds of both vocal and written ammunition. This figurative firepower was designated to inflict maximum mental anguish on and destroy reputations of any board or committee member favoring a sensible wind ordinance. Other salvos conveyed misleading and nefarious claims about health, safety, and welfare. Turbines were blamed for every ill afflicting mankind, with the possible exceptions of leprosy and hemorrhoids. Sadly, some of the Douglas Planning Commission members succumbed to this lethal bombardment of misinformation. After years of loyal service to the township and its citizenry, they lost their focus and forgot they were charged with regulating prospective businesses, not shutting them out. Instead, they were imbued with the notion that their mission was to ensure that any turbine brought before them for consideration would be relegated to Boot Hill. Ignoring advice from its governing board and its attorneys and advisor, a planning commission majority took the bit in its teeth and ran amok. On December 31st, the Daily News observed that Douglas seemingly took one step forward and 2 steps back during the past year while working to upgrade its 2017 wind ordinance. It had long become apparent to many observers that the Douglas Planning Commission had become ineffective and that changes had to be made. To cite an old adage, when the horse dies, dismount. The board decided to make the needed changes, assuming the role that is fully at its discretion and within its legal area of responsibility. Will a reconstituted planning commission look at wind with an objective eye? Those of us who favor a prudent and farsighted wind policy in Douglas Township and Montcalm County certainly hope so. With that said, my husband Larry and I wholly support our very capable and hardworking Douglas Township Board. Opposition to its recent action is likely. In such case, we stand ready to provide support and assistance to the board with an end to peacefully resolving this dispute. A truce in the Douglas Township range war is long overdue. Thank you.
Yes?
Good evening, my name is Julie Wiper, 2302 North Musson. First off, I want to thank the planning commission members that have been working hard on this for the last several years. I've been very involved in this for a while now, and I want to say that the planning commission members have done an excellent job up to this point. So I commend every single one of them, including the ones, unfortunately, that were replaced. I want to say that the planning commission didn't do anything wrong. None of those members did anything. What they were doing was taking the feedback of the majority of the constituents that were providing feedback to them, and they were implementing that in the way that they felt was best able to and necessary to provide a safe and effective ordinance for our community. And we have referendums, pass ordinances that were not up to par, and we will continue to referendum as we feel the need to move forward, regardless of who the planning commission members are that are writing an ordinance and recommending it to the board. If a board passes an ordinance that is not what we feel is safe and effective to protect our community, we will referendum. And I also want to just reference really quick, a court case, Johnachek versus Bay Township, U.S. District Court, Western District of Michigan, where they did actually uphold a 30-foot height limit on wind turbines. So I will read a small excerpt until I get cut off here. The Johnacheks insisted that a 30-foot wind turbine generator is not reasonably effective or profitable. Thus, they argue that the 30-foot limitation operates to functionally exclude all wind turbines because wind resources cannot be reasonably and efficiently used at that height. I'll skip a few paragraphs for time here. Their expert acknowledges that tall wind turbines are typically more productive than short wind turbines, yet short wind turbines may still be useful. It follows that to the extent the township recognizes the possibility that installation of a 30-foot wind turbine may be permitted, it cannot be said that all wind turbines are functionally excluded. So when we're looking at the different height limits and things like that, there actually are court cases that we can look at. And maybe are there specific instances that we need to be careful of? Absolutely. But this is not a new issue, and there absolutely are historical resources and evidences where we absolutely can do what we feel necessary as far as restricting what we want in our community to protect our constituents. Thank you.
Don Smucker, I know you wanted to talk. Do you want to go next?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Don Smucker. I'm a resident of Stanton. I've been in this county for more than 30 years, and I must say I'm really amazed at what I see going on in townships. I see bitter, contentious public meetings, fierce disputes among neighbors, local officials being accused of corruption and unethical behavior, and they're being called liars in public meetings. Officials who have signed wind exploratory easements are being treated like they've committed a crime, and Apex Energy representatives are being treated by very pariahs. So what's going on here, one must ask. If you dig deeper, you find the same pattern of tactics which we're observing here. The same outside experts that have been involved in similar controversies in other municipalities through Michigan have paid us a visit. The anti-wind message has been promoted by chaotic Zoom meetings, and the faithful partner of misinformation that's readily available on the internet, which some people call research. The Facebook partner has done its part with its unprecedented effectiveness in disseminating unsubstantiated and distorted facts, all skillfully designed to stir up fear and hate and suspicion in the neighborhood. Though the issue is not really health and safety, the real issue and goal is the total exclusion of wind turbines in our county. And the tactic is to put in place very restrictive ordinances with height, setback requirements, and noise restrictions. And which also contain very onerous and expensive provisions, which will make it almost impossible to site a wind turbine anywhere in the township. So the tactic of filling the room with unruly supporters, many of whom do not reside in the township, are doing all they can to promote the controversy and chaos. This is not democracy in action. This is nowhere close to the good faith deliberation that planning commissions are charged with doing. And those planning commissioners that are taking their cues from the audience are not fulfilling their responsibility of considering the needs of all the interested parties that include agriculture landowners' use of their own lands. To planning commission members,
Thank you, Don.
3 minutes.
Thank you.
Don Smucker, I'm embarrassed.
Me too.
You excuse me. You brought me into the planning commission. You sent me to training. Training where we talked about recognizing what our township and the people in it wanted. You sent me to training to create a master plan, specifically because our planning commission was faced with that task immediately after I began. I completed all that training and you were proud of me. In that training, we talked about wind and solar and the many different ways it can be brought in. It is not limited to 600 to 1,000 feet tall. It can be much smaller. I'm embarrassed that you would say the research as if it wasn't real. You know I'm an educator. You know my intelligence. I spent hundreds of hours researching. I am personally offended. To the Township Board, thank you for setting me up. Terry, from the beginning, you wanted my opinion. You asked me to look at research. I have a question. Did you ever read the entire 3-inch binder from Apex? No, you handed it off to me and said, would you go through this and tell me what's true and what's not? And I sat with you in your own home and did that. And we're about a third of the way through. Most of it was not true, or could at least be proven questionable. And I asked you, do you want me to continue? And you said, no, that's not necessary. Then you said, will you meet with people in the community, these people who don't want these huge turbines? You know where I stood. I told you all up front, 100 foot to the tip. I went out with people, met with them, spent hours, brought back, yes, what's called the Citizens Ordinance, which has been like wrung out. I can't believe how many times you have paid for legal opinion to tell you what the PC committee voted. We all said, let's not approve this right now. It needs more work. But we've had how many hours that he's told us? It's not quite done. We knew that. We brought it in to be work done. But it wasn't going your way.
Time.
Of course.
Anybody else? Go ahead.
Yeah, Stephen Paulson, Mason Valley Township. I'd like to commend the board for the action you've taken tonight. Seemed like you worked on this a long time and not getting anything done. I think it's time you do something that's fair and not restrictive. And I just think you've done a good job here tonight. And I also think this should respect the property rights of everybody's land rights. Thank you.
Harvey Schick, Douglas Township. I'm hurt, I'm saddened for you guys, because I used to respect you. And obviously you've lost your moral compass, you've lost your ethics, and for years to come, this is what you're gonna be known for. Not for your achievements in the community, but for the greed that you're falling to. I'm sorry.
Commission that have served this community for a long time, and if you've listened to any other townships in this area, there has been a lot of discussion about we don't throw people out just because you may not agree with them right now. And I think it's important to note that in most cases, your planning commission, just like your board, should have a difference of opinion so it can widely represent your constituents, which you are not doing. I also think it's important that we know, some of you have said it's been rude, that people are rude, that we're rude to the boards or the planning commissions. But the Supreme Court actually did look at this. It's in the New York Times versus Sullivan. And the court asserted that America's profound national commitment to the public debate on public issues should be uninhibited, robust, and wide open. And what you did today is shut down First Amendment rights for this township, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Sheila, did you wanna talk?
Yep, sure did. So first of all, I wanna point out that Ron Reddick just gave opposite advice to us that he gave to his own township where he motioned to put in 150-foot height limit of turbines. That's pretty ridiculous. So secondly, from the October board meeting, referring to the Spicer Group, we were told that we haven't hired them and we won't be hiring them. The supervisor was asked specifically, you haven't hired the Spicer Group and you don't intend to. And the supervisor responded on video, that's true. I can confirm that Mr. Anderson authorized the hiring of the Spicer Group in late August. At the December meeting, Mr. Reddick again stated that Mr. Anderson had personally authorized the hiring of Spicer Group. A big part of this discussion is about deception and corruption. And I was accused of calling him a liar like 5 times at the last meeting. And I have the video and I have not called him a liar. But I am saying tonight that he told us something that wasn't true at the last meeting. Also, as far as Mr. Reddick is concerned, he's threatening us not to referendum, which is ridiculous considering we don't have a final draft. He said the new draft is gonna be so much better, but we don't know what it is. So how could he possibly give that kind of advice? He continued to threaten that if it's not passed, we'll be stuck with the old ordinance. Yet we all know that doesn't have to be the case. This board, can protect us at any time they want to. If we are not protected, it's on their hands, not ours. And some of you have told me you don't want turbines, and yet every single one of you voted tonight for complete pro-wind planning commission. So don't even bother telling me that again. At the October meeting, we were also told that we could see the Micah Myers invoices. And I just want to show you, is this what our board thinks is showing us the invoices? Is this what you call open government?
No, it's dirty.
Corruption.
It is.
Thank you.
Todd Wells, Douglas Township. I've lived here for 46 years. There's this thing I guess we got to talk about here. How long you been here? The one thing I don't understand, I see the 3 new members. That's interesting. But when you came to me, Terry, 19 years ago, you said to me, "I want a planning commission board that is a little diverse." And I said, "That's great. Let's talk about. We got to have some females on there. We need some young people." I thought that was a great idea. So I was 26 at the time. So I thought that was kind of cool. And then we got Cindy on there. That was really cool. But I live at the lakes. And I think we saw in the last thing that there was 60% of the lakes that's paying the majority of the taxes in this township. I don't know if I'm wrong on that. 60%. So I think we're the majority. And I'm the only person who lives on the lake that's on the planning commission board. Why is there not more than one person that represents the lakes on the planning board? I mean, these 3 people, they might be nice people, but they're not my local residents, so I'm confused on that. So I think that we should have some people that's a little diverse that represents the lakes as well. I'm the only person out of 7. Doesn't make any sense. So I just confused on this whole situation, why you would remove a couple people at this time, because 150 feet, Ron, it's just like she said. You put it on your township, why can't we have it here? I mean,
Go Brandon.
Anybody else?
Hi, I'm Nancy Johnson, and I'm in Pearson Township, and I just wanna pass out some positivity here. Here's some numbers. I have 3 research done by, Check and Balance Group, and also an article written by Ashley Davenport that gives information. None of these articles are affiliated with APEC, they're independently done. And I just wanna say that living out in farm country, I should have the right to do what I wanna do with my property. And I live where I live, I hear tractors, I hear the expressway, I hear all of that all the time. I hear boat owners from where I live, from the lakes. And I don't say anything negative about that, because I love where I live. And I just think it's frustrating that a certain group, a small group of people, think they can dictate what I do on my property, and that's wrong. I wanna thank you for you guys. You guys are doing the right thing.
You got a hand up back here?
Christy, 1990, Williams, my husband, left. Douglas Township. I am not against windmills, and I am not against you farmers and what you do with your property. I'm against my health conditions and it being too close to my property line. I want to make that perfectly clear. I'm not against the windmills. I'm against 600 feet, which I think is a little bit outrageous, since Gratiot County and Isabella counties are only like 400. Why do they have to be 600 feet here? But my health condition is what I'm concerned with, and my husband that's owned the property for 20 years and lived here in Douglas Township, and I have a health condition that will be affected by the turbines and the infrasound and the blinking lights. It is a proven fact that it causes issue, and it's going on in University of Minnesota right now. They are proving that infrasound is an issue, not just with vertigo, inner ear issues that I have. It also causes heart problems, or will affect people with heart problems. I am not against what you farmers do with your property. I have a farmer right next to me. I just don't want it near my property line. That's all I'm asking. I want it to make sure that I can't hear it at all next to my property line. And I don't want to have to move or make my husband move after 20 years that he has lived in Douglas Township, because you, Terry, have not had a bone in your body.
Rick Baldwin, I'm on the PC. This whole thing, I find really disgusting. I don't know when you signed the letter, it was written the first. I don't know when you met on this to decide all this. It was signed by the board, so I assumed you all got together somehow. But that's not too hard, because there's 3 families that have got 50% of the people on the 2 boards. Now, at the last meeting, Tim tried to tell the lady there was gonna be, he wanted to do term limits type thing, which would put Jack the first lead, followed by me, and like Kevin would have been fairly close to the end. I find that disgusting. This is terrible. This is really bad. The 150 foot, Ron Reddick sat there at the end of the table, and we were discussing different heights, and we were having a conversation, and he said, and it can be on a tape, we can look it up, you said, well, it doesn't really matter what you put in there anyway, the board will decide that. Okay, that's why you got 150 foot, so you got some place to start, if you wanna talk compromise. As far as Paul Olson being on it, he's gonna be in violation of the bylaws the second he walks in. And I'm gonna press it, so you better think about that. I found the old bylaws too, that we never had.
Yeah.
Kinda weird, but anyway, I'm just tired of this whole thing.
Becky, go ahead.
Becky Souls again, Douglas Township. I'd just like to clarify, I've heard a couple of, stacking the deck, all pro wind, PC members. Now, I have never said I'm pro wind. Nobody has asked me how I feel about turbines. I don't have a blue shirt.
No.
I did not. I have never worn a blue shirt. I don't own a blue shirt. I am not pro wind. I am not anti wind. I'm for our community. I'm for compromise for our community. Nobody has asked. No one here has asked me my opinions on it because my personal opinions don't matter. So please don't accuse them of stacking the deck with pro wind. That's not at all what this is.
I'm Paul Eichenroth. I'm from Maple Valley. I'm the president of the local food pantry there. I really wish we could get this through because the revenue from the wind company will help decrease taxes and my clients won't be burdened. Now, as far as the health is concerned, my daughter is an epileptic, and that part of it is not a non-issue. The head of the neuroscience in Butterworth Hospital, we asked him about it, and it's fine. And the blinking lights, the apex are advanced with the blinking lights because it's not gonna blink. They're not even gonna turn on until an airplane comes within 500 feet of them.
Oh my
That's just.
500 feet of a 670 foot turbine.
The 150 feet really isn't good enough to do the scale that they need. If they do 150 feet, they're probably gonna have to have 210 turbines instead of just 70. Most of my property's in Pearson Township, and they've got the ordinance so bad, there's no place on my 74 acres that we could even think of putting a turbine. So I hope you reconsider all these things. Thank you.
Richard Enos, Douglas Township, lifelong resident. This is for everybody. I want to show of hands that everybody that resides in Douglas Township. Everybody don't have their hands up. I don't come to your township meetings and try and raise hell. I mean, it's not my prerogative. I'm not that type of person. So.
But it affects all of us. It's not just one township. It's overall, so we need to be involved.
Yeah, you can see 700 foot turbine.
Go ahead.
Linda Reynolds. Some time ago, Terry, you talked about you would not become the other townships for the fighting and disputing and what have you. I'm sure you and everybody here has seen this article of the Daily News, the top stories for the year. Sadly, we made #1 as being the worst. Part of that I attribute to you, and I'm sorry, I wanted to think better of you. Sheila said that it sounded like August that you actually signed on with Spicer. Ron said October 5th. In the minutes, I have gone through videos and looking, you said one time, yes, it is true, that we did not hire them. 2 months went by through all this. Your daughter got a heck of a beating with everybody here. Rhonda got probably the worst of it. She had 2 different meetings. And they were defending, saying, no, we did not hire them. We have no intentions of hiring them. You made the same remarks. Lo and behold, we find out you had done it. In 2 months they went through that. Your daughter and Rhonda, you let them take it while you sat back with your arms crossed. This is an embarrassment. You have divided this community more than I thought possible. You could resign if you're not happy with it. You wish you hadn't done it, you can resign.
Yes.
Melissa Bannon, I'm gonna make this personal. I love a lot of you, but I really think we should have said a prayer before everybody started talking.
Oh, we did.
I mean, out loud though.
We did that too.
I didn't hear it. But, I just have to say, I've been in the village of McBride for a very long time. I'm the mayor there. Whew, that's huge. And, if I was treated the way these folks are being treated, I wouldn't be there anymore. I've had a lot of times, I've left my meetings in tears, but I think as people, we should love one another and come to some sort of compromise. I don't think this board is a bad board. I don't think my board is a bad board. And all you people are wonderful people, and I don't understand this. I'm in Day Township, so I'm in the wrong spot, but sorry, buddy. I've been sitting here and I just feel bad. I mean, I feel really bad. We should be working together, and nobody's gonna agree on two things. We never have. But I guess when people own property, that's their business, and I don't own it, so I don't have to worry about it. I just really feel bad, like you, but it's in the village, so I'm sure nothing's coming in the village. But I just really, have sat here and taken in a lot, and you're all very important to me. I know most of you, but I feel really bad that we're kind of pointing fingers at everybody. I don't know, they're elected officials. I'm an elected official. If somebody treated me the way they've been treated, I care about a lot of people, but that really bothers me. And another thing, rules of Robert's remits is, you want to talk about Robert's rules, let me tell you something. Alright, so Robert's rules with the meeting, when these people are talking, nobody is supposed to even blurt out.
Your time's up.
Okay, I'm done, thank you.
You're not supposed to talk to the audience, you're supposed to talk to them.
Nobody is supposed to talk out of line. Sorry, why did you call him the school?
I would like to make one comment. I'm gonna echo my new counterpart. We are filling term limit positions for one. For two, many of you here know me from Central Montcalm in 1981. You have no idea